As this season has gone along, Brant, we've seen the power numbers, just incredible. The amount of pop we see game in and game out. But it's the walks, it's the defensive misplays that put those extra runners on that when the home run happens can really be devastating.
And so far we've seen 7 home runs in this series, 4 by the Tidal Wave, 3 from the Monarchs. All 3 of theirs came in Thursday's win. Speaking of homers, Cannon has one of the series, a 3-run shot on Thursday. Here a little flare pop-up, vacuumed in by Vanderford. And now there's 2 outs with Ochoa staying put at third.
That was a big pitch by Schlotterbeck. Runner at third, less than 2 outs. Able to get the out there, keep the ball in the infield is massive.
Now to the plate, Kelly Lynch. And that's high and tight inside from Schlotterbeck. And you have to see Lynch getting out of the way. 1 ball to no strikes. The batter here, Kelly Lynch from Noonan, Georgia. Final year at LSU this year. Before that, 4 years in Seattle at Washington. Kind of similar career arcs for these two. Schlotterbeck, 4 years in Maryland, 1 at FAU.
Yep, kind of illustrates what I know you and Haley talked about, you and I have talked about this summer, where you see a number of players who have multiple schools on their resumes.
Ground ball to third. Vanderford zips it over to first base, and after the leadoff double hit by Ochoa, no damage done by the Tidal Wave. And with that, we go to the bottom of the first inning. Game 3 underway, and the Monarchs are batting when we come back. The former Kansas Jayhawk, Casey Hamilton, of the circle tonight for the Tidal Wave in her final year with the Jayhawks. 18 complete games, 103 strikeouts across 167 innings, ERA of 3.40, and won 11 games in Lawrence. Looking at the batting order tonight, meanwhile, for the Monarchs, a team that's up in the series 2-0. Kylie Sand bats leadoff for a 3rd straight game. Should be followed by Devin Flaherty and Sarah Vanderford. Middle part of the order, Lily Piper, Jenna Keene, and Emily Hotz. And the bottom third, Kelly Torres, Jada Kearney, and Briley St. Clair. And Bill, you talked about the way the Monarchs scored on Thursday, the home run ball, but last night, different story. Walks really fueled the offense in Game 2.
Yeah, 5 walks to go along with 5 base knocks for the Monarchs, and then you throw in a hit by pitch as well, and it goes back to what we were talking about the top of this inning, where those free bases can come back and bite you, and that was clearly the case last night for Coastal Bend. A 1-run loss, and when you dissect it, that jumps off the page.
Kylie Sand digs in after her productive Game 2 last night, facing Casey Hamilton. Early count advantage Sand here, a ball to no strikes. So that win last night for the Monarchs, giving them, cue up the Major League line, a winning streak. First time they won back-to-back games since July 12th and 13th.
You look at the 1 and the 3 hole for the Monarchs. You've got Sand hitting .357, and then Vanderford in the 3 hole hitting a robust .358. It doesn't take long to figure out the scouting report. You really have to be careful against the top 3 in this batting order, because Flaherty, although her batting average is .191, she's done some good things offensively.
I find it interesting, though, that to go from .357 to 100th of a point better is robust.
No, the .358 is robust. Sand, the .357 is robust-like. I did not mean at all. Apologies to the Sand family. That was not any kind of criticism. 357 is pretty good.
Well, I love the save you just made there, by the way.
Boy, my feet hurt from tap dancing. Thanks, Brent. I'm just back in the booth.
Welcome back, partner.
It's great to be back, and I mean that wholeheartedly. This has been a fun summer, outstanding softball. So impressed by these athletes. You have no idea how impressive it is to see them game in and game out, put on a show for everyone. And I missed you, partner.
I like, again, that was the last bit of what you just said.
Yeah.
So full count here to Sand. Bill talked about how good the summer has been. Maybe nobody more so than for the Smoke. They won again last night, a rout of Hub City in Lubbock, 15-2. That team has now won 20 in a row. Record of 23-1. And so the standings are really rounding into form in terms of a potential postseason coming up. So the Smoke are locked into the #1 seed. There's no chance of anybody catching them. These two appear to be destined to face each other in a potential playoff. The Monarchs and the Tidal Wave both kind of flipping around second and third. And Hub City is 4 games back of third place with only 6 games to go to include tonight.
And playing the Smoke. That's not a good opponent to try to stack up wins against.
Here's a high fly to right center, and making the grab is Ochoa for the first out of the bottom of the first inning.
And here's my take on the Smoke. We saw the Smoke take on these Monarchs the first weekend of the season, and as you very well know, that series was this close to being a split 2-2. The Smoke, of course, won that epic 13-inning game against the Monarchs, go 3-1 in that series, and you wondered if the Smoke would hit a bump in the road. When Janae Jefferson and Savannah Jaquish were over with the U.S. team over in Italy in the World Championships, you wonder if missing those 2 key pieces would cause a problem. The answer was an emphatic no.
Yeah, a robust no.
A robust no.
Nobody on, 1 away for Devin Flaherty. And bunts that one foul to even the count. Devin Flaherty batting second of the order again here for the Monarchs. Had a huge 2-run single last night. Part of that 3-run second for the Monarchs. And also scored the walk-off homer hit by Vanderford on Thursday.
And that's what I meant a moment ago. Maybe if you only look at that 191 batting average, you think, well, what kind of contribution's coming there? But in big moments, Flaherty has found a way to get on and score runs for this Monarchs team.
And, of course, for defense, the shortstop really valuable to this team as well.
How many runs is that worth? That's a great point, Brant.
Foul away, even to count 2-2. So, again, the Monarchs have taken the first 2 games of the series, won in walk-off fashion on Thursday thanks to Vanderford's heroics, and then held on for a 5-4 win last night. And again, a great effort by Jaden Vickers in the circle, went 6 2/3, struck out 5, and got the win. Here's a fly ball to right. Park's going to hold this, and the catch is made shy of the track by Valdez. So a couple of fly ball outs to the outfield so far, starting the game for the Monarchs. And if you're Casey Hamilton, Bill, you've survived the first 2 batters, but in this ballpark, with the way the ball has flown off the bats, you've got to try to keep the ball down.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You have to stay away from the heart of the plate, the white of the plate. And we look at the flags beyond the wall in right center. The breeze, we'll call it, blowing out towards left today. Not much of a, I'm not going to call that a wind, Brant. We'll call that a breeze.
A breeze, yep. Vanderford with the fly ball to center. And coming in, Ochoa. So 3 fly ball outs, but no damage for the Monarchs in the bottom of the first inning. So just like that, 1 inning in the books. We head to the second. Game 3 of the series, Monarchs on top 2-0. Tidal Wave coming to bat for the second time when we return here in San Marcos. Tidal Wave head coach Blake Miller and his team come into this game with a record of 10-15, only half game back of the Monarchs for second place in the WPF standings. And again, his team has had the edge of the series coming into this weekend. These two have played each other 7 times, a couple of weekend series in Robstown, both won by the Tidal Wave. Won 2-1 in the first series and then a 4-game sweep in the other. So kind of dominant in the win-loss column. But again, Bill, like the games that we've seen this weekend, you take a microscope to those 2 series, all 7 games, very competitive.
Yeah, very competitive, and obviously the smoke, when you see what they've done, it kind of distracts the eyeballs, but there's been a lot of competitive, close, good softball played this summer, and as we get closer to the end and then into the playoffs, I expect more of this where with everything on the line, these teams will play even tighter games.
Leadoff batter Tatum Anzaldo, and how about her story last night?
Yeah, I was, of course, watching the game and weren't expecting to see her. And did she make her presence known?
Yes, she did. So Anzaldo was a late scratch, was in the starting lineup, and then about 10 minutes out from first pitch, the lineup changed to take her out of it. Anzaldo then off the bench, cold, hits a pinch hit homer in the 6th inning. That kind of helped spark a little bit of a comeback by the Tidal Wave that ultimately fell short. Clearly there was something bothering her with her leg. Could not really run. Hitting a home run helps. You can walk her on the bases if you want. So then she takes over at first base, and then later in the 7th inning, comes through again with an RBI base hit. And out tonight getting the start, but again playing at first. I am to assume then that whatever was ailing her last night, doing so again here tonight.
Yeah, you see Schlotterbeck, her approach, trying to stay away from the heart of the plate. A lot of respect for Anzaldo's ability to put barrel to ball.
Swing and a miss out in front of that pitch. Fills the count 3-2.
That's something else you have to do against a really good hitter, right? Have to have that ability to change speeds, and you saw the change up there.
Wiggins awaits on deck. Full count pitch. That's in the dirt. And ball 4. First walk given up by Schlotterbeck. Leadoff runner is on again for Coastal Bend, but they've had this happen so many times in the series. Now 8, but they've only cashed in 3 times.
You have to punish the opposition anytime the door is open, and I guess we need to be clarify here that to this point, Coastal Bend hasn't been able to cash in these opportunities, but sometimes the law of averages can work out.
Ryla Wiggins also homered last night, and hers was a moonshot. Went opposite field to right center last night. One of the hardest hit balls she's had this year. Swung on, left field, deep, and she has done it again. Right on cue, Ryla Wiggins, 2-run shot, and the Tidal Wave strike first.
We're going to get another look at it in a moment, but everybody keep your eyes on pitch location. See Wiggins there, a nice approach, nice setup, and pitch a little bit up in the zone there, and Wiggins, look at that. Above the belt, boom.
Well, yeah, belt-high pitch, and you are living in the danger zone as a WPF pitcher these days. And Wiggins, another moonshot for her, this time going pull side. And there's that wave celebration for them at home plates. Second home run of the series for Wiggins, and that is the 5th of the weekend for Coastal Bend.
And Wiggins has some family and friends here in attendance at Bobcat Softball Stadium.
I love how those fans are so easy to identify, by the way. This isn't Bill assuming, right? It's a couple of fans wearing Wiggins T-shirts.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, the gentleman had gone to the concession stand and was on his way back. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if coming through the portal, if he was able to see it or not.
Yeah, I remember thinking as a kid when I first started watching baseball and softball, and there is the Wiggins fan club, by the way. that, there was so little scoring in those games and so few big moments. Getting up, going to the bathroom, getting a snack.
Yeah.
You come back, the crowd is roaring. What did I miss? And being so disheartened to think, well, that's when the game's exciting. I shouldn't be missing those moments. That is to say, never get up from your seat, right?
Never get up from your seat, and there isn't a more uncomfortable feeling than what you just described when you hear and feel that roar, and you want to know why.
Ground ball to third. Vanderford, as sure-handed as they get to the hot corner in the WPF, makes that play for the first out of the inning.
And getting back to Wiggins' home run again, you mentioned the 3 solo shots last night for Coastal Bend in the 5-4 loss. So what's the difference here? The leadoff walk in the inning. Turns a solo shot into a 2-run round tripper.
Base is empty, 1 out for Michaela Ramos. First time seeing her in the series. Swing and a miss out in front of that changeup. 0-1. Ramos, along with her teammate Malaysia Ochoa, played together at Iowa State. Ramos 5 seasons as Cyclone, Ochoa 4. Both wrapping up their careers this year. That hits her. Another free ticket to first base given up by Slaughterbeck.
Yeah, in the early going, it appears Slaughterbeck a little bit of trouble with her command, her control. She'll try to make adjustments and work that out. I just had a thought as you described Iowa State, and I got to thinking, how many games did the Cyclones play in there in Ames that were 98, 99 degrees? Not many, right?
I'm going to guess 0. There was a preseason podcast that Malaysia Ochoa was on, a national podcast talking about Iowa State. And, a team in the Midwest, when the season begins, it's February. There's snow. It's really cold in Ames, Iowa. So you don't play many home games, period, when you're at Iowa State.
Yeah, we see it here with Texas State scheduling both softball and baseball, right? Where a lot of those Northeast, Midwestern teams will come down to Central Texas to start their respective seasons.
Rock Benavidez looks to the ball in the dirt. Torres throwing to second base, not in time. And so a wild pitch will afford Ramos another base. Yeah, you mentioned, how the Bobcats schedule and teams they otherwise wouldn't normally play, both here at softball and at baseball, they get to in February. You had the chance to cover opening weekend for baseball, and the Penguins of Youngstown State came into town.
Yeah, they sure did. And I remember interviewing Coach, and yes, weather was one of the topics. And I remember talking to him, and he lamented the fact that his team couldn't even get outside to practice. Forget games, but to practice. Playing, again, Schlotterbeck having trouble, right, finding the plate. But to the point about the differences playing in that part of the country as opposed to down here is, there's a big difference playing baseball, softball out on the turf, out on the grass, your feet in the dirt, than being in Gym 101.
So after 2 consecutive hit batters, the infield and Coach Guttleson will visit with Soderbeck in the circle here. Bill, you said it, control right now an issue.
Yeah, it sure is. And you go back to the 2-run home run. It was a walk that started the inning before Wiggins went long ball, and now you're, again, setting the table for what could be a 2-run inning. All of a sudden you're looking at a 4 or 5-run inning if Coastal Bend can come up with a couple of big base knocks.
Now, this is very unlike Slaughterbeck. We referenced her numbers in this ballpark this season in the league. 30 innings for her, 1 hit batter.
And her walk numbers, 10 walks in 30 innings. I'm sure she'd like that to be a little lower, but already a free pass issued in this ball game.
Yeah, 1 walk, 2 hit batters in this inning. So 2 on, 1 out. The top of the order coming up as the card is flipped back over to Malaysia Ochoa, who, as you recall, doubled off of Slaughterbeck back in the first inning. And here is the other Cyclone we were talking about. Here's a fly ball to left, got some carry, and it is off the top of the wall. That's going to bring in a run. The ball trickles towards the infield, and the lead now 3-0. Ochoa, her second double of the game.
Ochoa off the bat, I was thinking routine fly ball, and then that thing kind of got up in the what little jet stream there is here and took off. And, you know, Kearney, the left fielder, obviously this isn't a stadium that she's incredibly familiar with, but as an outfielder, you're taught get to the wall and work your way back to the ball, and she kind of arrived at the wall as the ball did.
Ramos scored the run, so you had former Cyclone teammates being a part of that scoring play. Runner second and third, one out. Three straight have reached here for the Tidal Wave. 3 runs in the inning have scored. And now we've seen Slaughterbeck fall behind Whitley 2-0.
Pitchers or hitters count, beg your pardon, and already down 3-0. You see the Monarchs defensive alignment have to bring the infield in.
Slow roller to first. And with that infield defense Bill describes, well, scratch all that. That was a foul ball, so never mind. But you're positioned that way in the event a ball like that stays fair.
No doubt, and that does not feel good. Clay went right off her right big toe.
On the appeal to third, Whitney Fulvin, our third base umpire, says she doesn't go. Calling balls and strikes tonight, Victor Canales and the first base umpire, Bob Hines. Ground ball to first. That is a fair ball. Throw to home. The tag, not in time. Emily Hott chose to go home. Also choosing to come home, Rock Benavida, she scores to make it 4-0.
Boy, watch this play again. The ground ball to Hott. And I think Hott was surprised that the runner Benavides was coming from third. That forced her to take another step before she threw the ball, and that was costly.
Second and third again, and another hit batter, this time Cannon. Boy, this has been a troublesome inning here for Trinity Slaughterbeck. You get the sense that maybe the home run rattling her a little bit. She got the next batter out, but since then, 3 hit batters, a fielder's choice led to a run and no outs and a double.
Yeah, timeout here is pause and play. Maybe Schlotterbeck, if she's still in the game, there is activity down in the Monarchs bullpen, but if Schlotterbeck stays in, maybe this can help her reset a little bit. I don't know, Brant, if we've seen a game this season where there have been 3 hit batters in a half inning.
No, I don't believe we have. So Tyler Gundelson, the acting head coach, came out with his lineup card talking to Victor Canales, and that can only mean one thing. A change is coming, and it is. Alexa DeFeo will come in and relieve Schlotterbeck after a rough second inning. And so she's done after an inning and a third, and it brings in DeFeo from Akron, Ohio. In her second year in the league, last year DeFeo won a ring with the Texas Smoke in her first year with the expansion Monarchs. We saw her last week in this ballpark against her former teammates, and kind of a rough couple of outings for her then. Gave up 12 runs, although her defense didn't help her. Only 5 of those earned, and 3 1/3 innings last week against the Smoke.
I know Schlotterbeck's appearance was brief, but think about how this transpired. Back in the first inning, gave up the leadoff double to Ochoa, had the sac bunt, but then out of the inning. And this half inning, top of the second inning, has not gone to script at all for Schlotterbeck and the Monarchs. Now, DeFeo, it's her job, obviously, to keep this a 4-0 deficit, because if there's one thing we know, the Monarchs can swing it.
They can. That said, don't want to let this game get away early. And with the part of the lineup coming up, they can really widen the gap here. Lynch is due up to hit. And after that, it's back to Tatum Anzaldo, who began this inning with a walk. So it's Lynch, Anzaldo, Wiggins due up.
You can't win a game in the first couple of innings, but you can lose it in the first couple.
DeFeo does her job, starts off. Lynch with a strike. Lynch 0 for 1 of the game. It's Malaysia Ochoa over at third base. That floats in out of the zone. Tate Whitley at second, and Trinity Cannon now at first. On this hot Saturday night, 1-1 pitch, belted left field. Does it stay fair? No, just goes foul, just missing a grand slam.
Yeah, we're about 4 feet from that being 4 runs.
They had the distance. That wasn't the issue. Would it stay fair or foul? As Bill said, just pulled foul by about 4 feet. A miss inside 2-2. Talked about the heat at first pitch, 98 degrees.
Even though they trail 4-0 and 1 out, infield back.
Flaherty flips a second for 1. Sand to first, not in time. RBI fielder's choice makes it 5-0 as Ochoa scores.
You know, I just got done saying it. The Monarchs at double play depth, you think, you wonder, had the infield been in, and I know you change one thing, you change everything. Could the Monarchs had possibly had Flaherty go home with that, that play to get the force out? We'll never know.
And that ball not hit hard enough to turn 2. Runners first and third, 2 down. There and Tatum Anzaldo way out in front. Maybe trying to jump on a fastball there. Went after the changeup. More heat behind that pitch, but out of the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Coastal Bend has already put together more runs so far in this game than they did on Thursday night, than they did on Friday night.
That is a ground ball, gloved by Santa, flipped to hot at first base to end the inning. And that's going to do it for the Tidal Wave at the top of the second, but they strike for 5 runs. The big hit, a 2-run homer from Rylan Wiggins as we go to the bottom of the second inning. A huge top half of the frame for the Tidal Wave. Monarchs look to respond when we come back. Five runs for the Tidal Wave at the top of the inning, Bill, but only 2 hits, but those hits, pretty big ones.
Yeah, big bops. Wiggins, of course, after the walk, Anzaldo, and then Wiggins went deep, and then, yeah, Ochoa does a nice job. Saw her double back in the first inning, and then Ochoa just hits the rewind button. Nice piece of hitting here, and is able to take it off the wall in left. And a lot of traffic out on the bases because of hit by pitches and walks, and that's how you end up with 2 base hits resulting in 5 runs.
Yeah, you look at the free passes given up in the inning, the 3 hit batters and the walk. 4 of those free tickets, 3 of those players came home to score.
Yeah, it's funny the way the softball gods work.
All 5 runs charged to Trinity Slaughterback, who was pulled in favor of Alexa DeFeo, who finished out the inning. And now we go to the bottom of the second. Monarchs try to respond. Lily Piper batting leadoff here. It is batters 4 through 6. Piper, Keen, and Hott all coming up here for the Monarchs.
Incidentally, Brant, at the end of that inning, Anzaldo going to first base, something to keep an eye on. Again, she was really laboring going up to the first base bag there.
And not running well at all.
At all.
Something happened during pregame warm-ups last night. Not to the extent of keeping her out of action, but certainly hampering her ability to play the way she wants to at full speed.
Quite a player. And now for Hamilton, Coastal Bend in the circle. Her charge here is you've been given a 5-run lead, pound the strike zone. Make the Monarchs earn anything and everything. And conversely, in the Monarchs dugout, don't go up there trying to hit a 5-run homer.
You look back at her final year in Kansas and Lawrence, Hamilton at 1 point this year. As you look at Anzaldo and, again, dealing with a lower leg issue for the time being, but Hamilton tossed 4 straight complete games at 1 point, 28 straight scoreless innings. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
She was pitching in a really good league.
The Big 12, yes. With so many great programs in that conference, which has really changed a lot over the last month. The subtractions of Texas and Oklahoma, the additions of Utah, Arizona, Arizona State, and Colorado, although the Buffaloes don't play softball.
Have you updated the whiteboard in your office? All the conferences?
What's the point, man? It's going to change again in a couple of years, if not sooner.
You know, you asked me during one of the breaks, we'll take everybody behind the curtain, you asked me growing up in Maryland if I was a Maryland fan. And I certainly cheered for the Terps, but I still, believe it or not, is Piper ahead of that pitch, but I kid you not, I still have moments where Maryland is still in the ACC. I kid you not.
Yeah, you know, and think about this, you know, Maryland, to play a conference game in the Big Ten, may make some trips out to Eugene or Seattle.
Good at bat here by Piper, making Hamilton work. And go back to what I said a moment ago, Hamilton, her charge here is to throw strikes and let her defense work.
Where is College Park, Maryland?
Right outside of D.C.
Okay.
Yep, right outside of our nation's capital.
On the ground, sharply hit to the second baseman, Benavidez. 1 up and 1 down. Hamilton so far 4 up and 4 down in her start here for Coastal Bend.
Nice play by Benavidez, not routine at all, where she's able to shuffle to her left and get her glove down. This Piper, that was a shot off her bat going the other way.
Haley, who was in your seat last night, talked to Brock Benavidez, how great she was defensively.
Yeah, showed it there. That looks like 4-3 in your scorebook, but that was a really nice play.
Jenna Keene puts down a bunt. Charging in from third is Cannon. The throw is in time. Trinity Cannon with a great play at third base. Bases emptied, 2 outs. Another solid play made by this Coastal Bend infield.
How about it? So think about it. Instead of nobody on 2 down, this half inning thus far is about a whisker away from being, let's be creative, runners at first and third and nobody out.
We talked to Benavidez as well. She was the one that had to get to first base in a hurry to cover the bag.
Not easy. And you mentioned Cannon. Kind of like a quarterback trying to hit a receiver across the middle. You have to lead the infielder to the bag.
Are you in football mode yet?
I'm close. I heard you and Haley talking about, of course, watching the telecast last night, and yeah, it's that time. I ran into one of our camera folks, one of the greats, and he mentioned that he was over at Texas State's football practice earlier this morning doing some video work. It's happening, partner.
Again, the first college football Saturday, 3 weeks away, August 24th.
Incredible. Have you been stretching and going through your preseason routine?
Matter of speaking, sure. I'm not sure stretching is a part of it, but yeah, we'll go with that.
Your first game is what, the 31st?
31st, yeah, 4 weeks from today. As Hot draws a walk on 4 pitches. First base runner of the night here for the Monarchs. A 2-out walk for Emily Hott. So yeah, the Texas State program, many believe, going to be one of the great group of 5 teams in the country this year. Open up the season at Bobcat Stadium, now soon to be known UFCU Stadium. August 31st against Lamar, one of the 7 home games for the Bobcats this year. And look at these players. You know, again, so many coming from Power 5 programs, many of which have tremendous football programs.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, one program can certainly help another, which can help another. Now, Torres, we know she has some pop in her bat. We've seen Torres go deep this summer.
Hit a home run on Thursday. One of 3 homers that night for the Monarchs. Lays off this pitch. It's 1 ball, 1 strike to the former Duke Blue Devil. Bill and I have both been on podcasts from time to time, and this is something that Davin brought up. He was in your seat on Thursday, that Torres, as here she ropes a base hit to left. That goes off the wall, but it was hit so well, so sharply, it only leads to another base for Emily Hott. She has to stay at second.
And Whitley, the left fielder, you watch this ball go down into the corner, and Whitley could not have played the carom better. Look at her set her feet to be able to turn over her right shoulder. She's a lefty, to be able to make that throw.
So, a base hit, a single here for Kelly Torres. First hit tonight for the Monarchs. So maybe a bit of a 2-out rally here as Jada Kearney comes up. 2 on and 2 out. And here comes Tyler Gunnelson, maybe making a change on the base paths here. And he will bring in a pinch runner. Torres, the catcher, will go back into the dugout, and Jenna Keene will take her place. We're talking about that podcast of Torres as, again, she goes into the dugout. You want to check it out? Go on to Instagram and look up SB Speakeasy. Softball podcast that Torres hosts.
Very good. So many of these athletes do a tremendous job, and I know you hear the words their brand, but a number of these athletes do a tremendous job of getting their names, getting their stories, getting their personalities out there, and in my opinion, that helps the game so much. It personalizes, humanizes the players for the fans.
Good look here at Bobcat Softball Stadium on the Saturday nights. Monarchs up in the series 2-0. That's lashed foul. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kearney. Speaking of players who played at colleges with great programs, football programs, Jada Kearney, a former Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah, Georgia's pretty good. Kirby Smart's got a good thing going.
Not bad, huh?
Now, I just had a thought. Think about this inning. Think about the first 2 batters of this inning. How close this is right now to being a big inning for the Monarchs.
At the same time, now Hamilton is a pitch away from getting out of this and maintaining a 5-run lead.
I remember what we said at the top about it's such a fine line sometimes between success and lack of success.
How about the play discipline there by Kearney? That ball nipping at the corner. You're behind 1 and 2, and you don't swing. But that's a good eye, and again, good play discipline there by Kearney.
Sometimes it can mean the batter was fooled. I'm not sure there, but it was a great take.
Takes again to field the count, 3 and 2. Briley St. Clair waits on deck.
Of course, this will give the runners a little bit of head start. 3-2 count, 2 down.
Swing and a miss. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. How about that pitch from Casey Hamilton to strike out Kearney and end the threats? In the inning, no runs on a hit and 2 runners left on. We go to the 3rd inning. Coastal Bend, an impressive start. They're on top 5-0 here at Bobcat Softball Stadium. Rylan Wiggins leading off here in the third inning. You go back to the second, Bill hit that 2-run homer. She's now homered in 2 consecutive games. The former Texas A&M Aggie hit 11 this year for the Aggies out of the SEC.
Yeah, a tremendous, big piece of the puzzle for Texas A&M this past season in their great 2024. Of course, the Aggies took the Texas Longhorns right to the limit in the Super Regional. Wiggins, her fingerprints all over that.
It's funny the amount of teammates from college now to the Tidal Wave on this roster. Rylan Wiggins and Trinity Cannon rather, both Texas A&M. We spoke earlier about the former Cyclones. Wiggins fly ball to center. Second home run tonight, Rylan Wiggins. And she is on fire right now.
I, like everybody, I want to see this again. I don't think Wiggins completely finished her swing, but she got barrel to ball and she let the speed of the ball do the work. Look at that. Yeah. So last night, a home run to right, and now she's gone left and center.
When you said it, the follow through, the swing, she kind of stops 3/4 of the way.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen Aaron Judge do that.
Of all the players you could have named just now, you went with Judge. I am such a big fan of yours right now.
You're welcome, partner.
Because I know how much you dislike the Yankees and how much I do like them. And you went with Judge.
But the Judge is a consummate power hitter, right? And Wiggins, she's showing the power again. Talk about using all fields. Go back to her home run last night and what she's done so far tonight.
I think I just caught a shot of Reagan Glanz with a tiny mic interviewing Wiggins, or maybe something that looks like a microphone there in the dugout. That ball ripped to right. That's a base hit. And how about Coastal Bend? Cassie Valdez taking her turn with the base hit. Back-to-back hit starts the third inning for a team that is locked in right now.
Absolutely locked in. It looks to me, at least so far in this game, that Coastal Bend's taken the 2 losses so far in this series. They've taken it personally.
Michaela Ramos swung on, left field, drilled, gone. Yeah, I would say the Tidal Wave are locked in tonight. 8-0 on top of the Monarchs.
If anybody out there is suffering any kind of power outage where you are, I can tell you where the power is. It's here at Bobcat Softball Stadium.
The final 3 years for Ramos in Ames with the Cyclones hit 34 home runs. She's got power in that bat. Shows it off there. 2 homers in the inning, 3 homers in the game for this team, and they are rolling.
Short, compact swing, boom.
Benavidez takes a strike from DeFeo. You were talking about those teammates again. Ramos, Ochoa, Iowa State, Wiggins, Cannon, A&M, Anzaldo, Haley Archer, both from Cal. Teammates there together. That's fouled away. Grace Chellerman and Reagan Glanz just missing each other at Marshall, but both former Thundering Herd players.
We all understand that a lot goes into the construction of a batting order, but I think it's worth pointing out that what's happened here in this half inning, it all started with the 6-hole Wiggins and then 7-hole, 8-hole.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention the 2 former Ole Miss teammates, our producer Victoria Hyman, Ole Miss alum, Tate Whitley and Maya Stevenson, both playing in Oxford. Doing so together for 1 season. That's tied 2-2 to Benavidez. Popped up. Is that playable? It is not, just behind the screen. So big night for Riley Wiggins, a couple of home runs. And then Wiggins has homered in 3 out of her last 4 at-bats, going back to last night. That ball shot foul. You think about individual performances. Who stood out in the series? Wiggins certainly tonight. Even in defeat for the Tidal Wave on Thursday, the starting pitcher, Cassie Valdez, 12 strikeouts in 6 innings. Of course, the Monarchs, the heroics from Vanderford, the walk-off homer on Thursday. And then it was their starting pitcher, Jaden Vickers, who went 6 2/3 last night. That stood out. Some great individual efforts this weekend.
Of course, I can't help it. Anytime you mention Vickers for the Monarchs, the one loss the Smoke have suffered this season, it was Vickers in the circle.
Here's a fly ball to left. Jada Kearney coming in, has the catch for the first out. You know, it's not out of the realm of possibility the Smoke don't lose again. Okay, let's just say that happens. So if you're Jaden Vickers, you have a story forever, right?
Tell the grandkids.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's Jaden Vickers. Great final year for her at Kentucky, before that at Rutgers in the Big Ten. Ochoa back to the top of the order, looks at the ball down for ball 1.
You know, you and I don't have to tell anybody that funny things can happen in sports, right? I mean, you mentioned I'm an Orioles fan. In 1969, there was 0 chance the Mets would beat the Orioles in the World Series. We all remember the Miracle on Ice.
I am stunned you brought that one up.
Well, it still hurts me every day.
But yet here you are.
But all jokes aside,
Yeah.
you know, weird things can happen. Funny things can happen in sports. That's why so many of us keep our noses pressed up against the screen. We want to see what will happen next. And here in the WPF, who knows?
On the ground, too short, backhand Flaherty, throwing it into the dirt, not in time to Hotz, and Ochoa is on for the 3rd time tonight.
Even if Flaherty comes up with that more cleanly going to her right, not sure she would have been able to get the out there. She tried to, and we see this from a lot of infielders, tried to make that one-hop throw. That's what she was looking for, getting it across the diamond, but she really had to rush there.
Brings up Tate Whitley. And again has gone with the team color face paint. Kind of that light yellow goldish look for Whitley. Here with a base hit to right field. So the face paint's working for her tonight. Not fielded cleanly in right by Keene, but the runners stay at first and second base, and Whitley is on with her first hit tonight.
Another tremendous at-bat by a Coastal Bend hitter. The offensive display so far has been a little breathtaking. 8 runs on 8 hits so far, and you throw in the 3 home runs.
Cannon 0 for 1 was hit by a pitch earlier in the game. Fouls that one away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cannon. Brent Freeman alongside Bill Cohing. Glad to have you with us on this Saturday nights. As we see DeFeo dropping a strike against Cannon. A 5-run second for the Tidal Wave. 3 more runs here in the 3rd inning off a couple of home runs. Solo shot rather than Wiggins, and a 2-run bomb from Michaela Ramos. 2 on, 1 out here, and DeFeo strikes out Cannon.
Tremendous pitch by DeFeo. Outside corner at the knees. Great execution against a really good hitter.
And now the 7th batter of the inning comes up. Kelly Lynch will make it the 8th. You look back at the strikeout from DeFeo. Knee-high strike on the call from Victor Canales.
I think it kind of illustrates how locked in Coastal Bend has been offensively. That's the first strikeout.
Now fly ball to left. Kearney coming in. Should make the catch on the run of the Tidal Wave strand 2. But they also homered twice in the inning. Wiggins a second time tonight. Ramos, her first time hitting a bomb. 3-run score, and it is 8-0 Coastal Bend over the Monarchs. Tyler Gunnelson, again, the acting head coach, is about to take his position in the third base coaching box, but right now making a stop in the bullpen, talking to some of the pitchers. He is the pitching coach and assistant for Candace Fitton-Bachbrader, who again is not with the team this week as she's dealing with a family emergency. And again, all of our best to her and the Bachbrader family as she tends to those back at home. Meanwhile, we go to the bottom of the third inning, and the Monarchs have the work cut out for them, down 8-0. Coastal Bend has jumped all over this team. And Casey Hamilton, Bill, you talked about, being able to pitch with confidence, throwing strikes when you're up 5-0. Add 3 more runs now to that lead.
Yeah, so it's rinse, repeat. It's the same charge for her is to throw strikes and make the Monarchs earn everything.
Briley St. Clair lofts one to right for a base hit. First pitch of the inning. Leadoff runners on for the first time for the Monarchs tonight.
St. Clair, 353 batting average. Games here, not surprised. She continues to be productive offensively, and now you get to the top of the batting order for these Monarchs, and we're talking about Sand, Flaherty, Vanderford, Piper. This one isn't over. Don't go anywhere. We've seen the Monarchs put up crooked numbers time and time again.
A short delay right now.
There's a ball loose.
Ah.
Ball loose in the outfield.
Right, and so now Sand will step in. Ground ball to first. Great backhand by Anzaldo, but her throw sails into center. Trying to erase the lead runner, maybe put too much on that throw, and now there's 2 on with nobody out.
Tremendous pick over at first base because Anzaldo, Coastal Bend, they ran at the corners with Sand up, and that was a bang play, and you said it, partner, just a inaccurate throw.
So maybe this is where the Monarchs have their window to get back in it, down 8-0 as Flaherty comes up. She's 0 for 1 tonight. Flaherty looks at ball 1 upstairs. So again, with Coach Fitton-Bachbrader not here, Tyler Gunnelson at third, and again a player serving as the coach at first base. And for the second time in 3 nights, those honors going to Jaden Vickers. That ball drilled, and it goes into right field off the glove of Benavidez. St. Clair stays at third base, and the base is now loaded.
Another opportunity for Coastal Bend, worst case scenario, to get 1 out. Hard shot there, maybe you had designs of Coastal Bend getting a double play potentially. Instead, you blink and Monarchs everywhere you look with another really good hitter coming up.
That'll lead to a visit with Joe Marabito, the assistant coach for the Tidal Wave, who, Bill, you had a chance to visit with before the game tonight.
Yeah, sure did. Visited with Coach and talked about his roots in the state of Michigan, Detroit, that area.
Now, you and I were talking baseball earlier. He has some great memorabilia of his own, doesn't he?
Yeah, old Tiger Stadium. When it was deconstructed, the Tigers now, of course, play at Comerica Park. But anyway, Coach telling me that he was able to get a couple of seats from old Tiger Stadium, and he's got those at home. How neat is that?
Sarah Vanderford comes up, bases juice, can cut this lead in half with one swing. Looks at the ball low. You know, I think what I remember most about old Tiger Stadium was the Cecil Fielder home run that cleared the very top of the stadium.
Hit it out of the park, literally.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Yeah, one of those iconic stadiums from baseball days gone by. So think about the way this inning has been constructed. St. Clair drops one into right field, and then back-to-back errors committed by Coastal Bend, and now you have one of the league's leading power hitters up in the batter's box, nowhere to put her.
2-0 to Vanderford, swung on, center field, long run, Ochoa, and it's off her glove. The Monarchs are on the board. St. Clair is going to score. Coming behind St. Clair is Sand. Vanderford comes through and drives in a pair.
Boy, Vanderford really, she was able to sink down in that back hip. Look at this. Fire those hands and drive the ball out to center field. I'm pretty sure Ochoa, if you asked her, she would say that a ball she has to squeeze, hold on to. She got there, had a long way to go. Don't be mistaken, but still, it's now 3 straight batters where it doesn't take a lot of imagination to see Coastal Bend getting an out.
Yep, in every case, the ball is hit leather with a chance for a play to be made, but wasn't. So now a 6-run game, still nobody out, and here's Lily Piper. With a bunt put down on the squeeze, flipped to home in the play, in time for the outs. Devin Flaherty not happy with the call from Victor Canales, but what a heads-up play made by Casey Hamilton.
Tremendous job fielding her position. I know we'll get another look at it here. Look at this. Had the ball in the glove and then able to get it to the catcher. I think the Monarchs certainly not pleased. We got another look at it there, and there's no review. Those of you who have been following the WPF this summer, no review. So the call is going to stand, and that is a huge call in this game, clearly.
Now Ramos there, you see here, a great job of protecting the plates. Also, though, wonder that bat of Piper's was kind of hovering around home plate. Did that interfere some with Flaherty's ability to score?
Doesn't take away from the fact, again, that Hamilton did a nice job of getting to that ball. If there's any hesitation, if there's any misstep on her part, the out certainly isn't recorded.
I know that bat was, I don't think it was too much in the way. As you look at Flaherty, who again was trying to score on that play in the squeeze, but the play made of the plates. First out of the inning. And Jenna Keene batting now. Keene with a base hit to center field. Rounding third, coming home. That throw not in time. Vanderford scores, and now it's 8-3.
Nice piece of hitting there by Keene. Takes the ball right back where it came from. Vanderford, I kind of wondered for a moment as Ochoa got to that ball quickly in center field. I wondered if they would hold Vanderford up at third base. She had the green light, and we said it, this part of the order, once you saw St. Clair kind of set the table and you flip to the top of the order, we knew the Monarchs had this kind of potential to put together this kind of an inning, and it's not over yet.
Still just a 1 out. Here's Emily Hott against Hamilton. These two have faced each other before in their time together in the Big 12, Kansas and Baylor respectively. Runners first is second, 1 away. The Monarchs have gotten the 3 runs back that the Tidal Wave scored at the top of the inning. Still trailing by 5. The 0-1 is high for ball 1.
You always compliment me, Brant. You tell me how great I am at math. I do know this. If I'm going to be down 8-0, I would rather it be the 3rd inning than the 6th inning.
Mm-hmm. Your math's so much better than your spelling.
My math is gooder than my spelling. It's been a weird half inning.
Yeah, it really has. As you pointed out, you know, there was 3 straight plays that saw the Tidal Wave have chances to get outs, couldn't do it. And then there was the one play where it was a squeeze play that you thought the runner was definitely going to score, but the Tidal Wave come through with that defensive play.
And it was Piper, your cleanup hitter, your 4-hole, who puts down the squeeze bunt.
And it's interesting, you know, when you're down at the time by 6 runs, playing for the 1 is a kind of a curious decision. But, you know, you and I both agreed that we thought that she scored and maybe the wrong call was made. So even though maybe a decision that we questioned, thought it was going to work out. As Hott here strikes out, 2nd out of the inning.
A nice pitch there by Hamilton. Looked like she pulled the string a little bit.
So for Casey Hamilton, that's her 2nd strikeout. And now 2 away. And the 9th batter of the inning comes up. Jada Kearney actually has a pinch, or I beg your pardon, this is Kelly Torres. The 8th bat of the inning, Kearney is on deck. And Torres looks at a ball down.
Torres, you'll remember her last at-bat, although it was only a single. She drove a line drive into the left field corner.
Had the first hit of the game for the Monarchs here tonight. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike facing Hamilton. Big workload for Hamilton at Kansas. Over 520 career innings pitched. Along the way, over 360 strikeouts. Talked about the workload. She led the Big 12 in innings pitched this year.
Hamilton had the plate there, but ruled down, much to the chagrin of the Coastal Bend faithful here, the stadium. Didn't miss by a lot.
That one a bigger miss. Now 3-1.
Because of Torres, her pop, the outfield has to play relatively deep here, so there's a lot of green grass out there.
Up the middle, that's through for a hit. Rounding 3rd, coming home to the plate. That throw, the tag, that is in time for the outs. Lily Piper disagrees with that call, but she is outs to end the inning. And so how about the Tidal Wave in this inning? 2 of the 3 outs, they get at the plate at home with a player trying to score. A great throw from Ochoa to her former Iowa State teammate, Michaela Ramos. It ends the inning, and we go to the 4th. 8-3, Coastal Bend on top. So after the way the bottom of the third ended, Tyler Gundelson is still upset, visiting with the home plate, or actually no, visiting with the first and third base umpires, Bob Hines and Whitney Fulvin. Lily Piper, the player in question, who was coming home, trying to come home and score. The call was made by Victor Canales, our plate umpire. Taking it back to the play itself, Bill, and the argument that we believe that's being made on the Monarchs' behalf is that perhaps Ramos was blocking the line.
Yeah, get another look at it here. First of all, Ochoa does a tremendous job of not only getting to the ball, but coming up, firing, and that is the question. You can see Piper is still pleading her case to her teammates there in the dugout, but the argument there is, we'll get a look at it. So look at the catcher. Is she impeding Piper's progress to the plate without having the ball or making a play on the ball? And that's the question, and it's subjective. If you're wearing Coastal Bend's colors, you're saying, no, Ramos, that was a natural action of her catching the ball and then leading into the line to ultimately make the tag of Piper coming in.
But what a tough inning for the Monarchs, even though they scored 3 times. One could make the case they should have scored 5. 2 outs at the plate, and both plays were very questionable.
I don't know. I'd have to think back, but I don't know if I've ever been on a broadcast or participated in a game where there were 2 outs recorded at home plate. But the other piece of that is there were 3 other plays where the defense had an opportunity to get an out and didn't.
Just bizarre. What was a long third inning. Each team scoring 3 runs. Saw pitching changes. Saw calls being argued. And after all that, still a 5-run game as we go to the 4th.
How much of a warrior is Anzaldo to even be in this ball game?
Oh, man. You made a comment earlier about the way that she was running towards first base, was not running well.
No, that was on her ground out back in the 2nd inning.
Here's a fly ball to left center field, and that's going to go. Tatum Anzaldo with a leadoff home run. 4th home run for the Tidal Wave tonight, and on top by 6.
I'll tell you what, you softball coaches out there, you young softball players, gather around and watch that at-bat where Anzaldo, that is almost textbook, where she drives the ball right back up the middle of the field. Has her nose on the ball. Just a tremendous at-bat.
Anzaldo going deep for the 2nd consecutive game. And DeFeo knew it almost immediately.
And how about this? Get out your stopwatch. How long was that ball in the air before it got over the wall?
Oh, maybe a 2.5 seconds.
Right? That was a really good at-bat. Again, put that one on rewind at your next clinic.
So with that, here comes Rylan Wiggins. Well, how about her night tonight? 2 for 2 with 2 homers of her own. Foul back. No balls and 2 strikes to Wiggins here, facing DeFeo for the first time. Or beg your pardon, for the 2nd time. DeFeo came into the game in place of Slaughterbeck in the 2nd inning. Tough start for Slaughterbeck tonight. Just too many hit batters, a walk given up, and surrendered 5 earned runs. This is popped up. Is it playable? It is. The catch is made by Emily Hott in foul territory.
It might get lost in the storyline, the story of this game, but Hott does a tremendous job at first base on a pop-up that's there in foul territory, first base side. She goes to the dugout and then works her way back to the ball to make the out.
Strike 1, pumped into Cassie Valdez. Great 2-way player at Our Lady of the Lake. Again, we had a great start for the Tidal Wave and a losing effort on Thursday with 12 strikeouts, only 1 walk given up. And here's falling behind 0-2.
Just when the Monarchs thought they had maybe a little bit of momentum, kind of getting this game back under control to get Coastal Bend into kind of shouting distance.
Put away by Vanderford for the 2nd out. Well, the term that we used earlier in the game was locked in, right? And, you know, a team that is locked in, like Coastal Bend, you give up 3 runs, what do? You respond right away.
Right away. As in Anzaldo leading off the inning.
After the pop-up by Valdez, here's Michaela Ramos, a player who was involved with both of those controversial plays at the plates in the 3rd inning. Takes a strike here.
There was nothing controversial about her home run, her last at-bat. She sent it out of here in a hurry.
2-time second team All Big 12 at Iowa State. Looks at a ball up, it's 1-1. One of the great hitters in Cyclone history, 2nd in Iowa State history in career runs batted in and 5th in hits. Ball's behind, 1 ball and 2 strikes against Alexa DeFeo.
And DeFeo, nice job of using the entire plate, goes to the inside corner there. We saw Ramos extend her arms her last at-bat back in the 3rd inning.
Here's a fly ball headed towards the foul line, and it's caught by Flaherty to end the inning. But Tatum Anzaldo will lead off home run. 4th homer of the night for the Tidal Wave. And with that, we go to the bottom of the 4th inning at a 9-3 game. You're watching WPF Softball on the official WPF YouTube channel. It's been quite the series so far for Tatum Anzaldo, despite the fact she's dealing with an injury. Homered in the top of the 4th inning to put the Tidal Wave on top by 6. You look at her final year at Cal, Anzaldo was named first team All Pac-12 for a 3rd consecutive season, the first time a Bears player has done that in 11 years. And she was top 5 in the Pac-12 in batting average, on base percentage, slugging, hits, and stolen bases, and she's taken her talents from the college ranks to the pros in the WPF.
She's had a nice weekend against the Monarchs so far. We all remember the 2 RBI double she had earlier this season against the Monarchs, tied the game at 5 in that occasion. So she's come up big moments. The Monarchs have suffered at her hands a few times.
Pinch hitter leading off here in the 4th inning for the Monarchs. Sarah Fessler hitting in place of Jada Kearney. Kearney had 1 at-bat and struck out. Fessler going opposite away and fists that one foul. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Fessler from Cleveland, Ohio. But then I referenced Youngstown State earlier. That's where she ended her career, 2 years with the Penguins.
Would think that she would take over in left field, most likely.
Fessler has appeared in the series, but only as a pinch runner. So this is her first at-bat this weekend. Fourth inning of work for Casey Hamilton. That's way out of the zone. 3 balls and a strike. We keep tracking of is the non-smoke record for everybody in the league. We've done this Thursday, Friday, new analyst in the seat today, now Bill with you. So the Monarchs, against everybody except the smoke, 9-8, winning record there. That's grounded to third. Cannon, and one away. Coastal Bend, 3 games over 500, 10-7 versus non-smoke teams. And Hub City, 6-10. Now you look at the overall record to include the smoke games, going through those 3 teams in order respectively, 10-14, 10-15, 6-19.
Yeah, I think the best description you gave there, Bran, is the piece where you said non-smoke records. The smoke, they've been incredible.
Their record 23-1. They've won 20 in a row, playing game 3 of their series tonight against Hub City.
It's one thing to be talented, right? You and I have been sports fans for a long time. Many of our viewers have been sports fans for a long time. It's one thing to have a talented team, but when that team can then go out and execute, play together, that's when you have something special.
How about that pick by Anzaldo at first base? And we've talked about how she's not physically all there, dealing with a lower leg injury, but fielded her first base position pretty well for the second out.
Yeah, showing good footwork despite having a leg that isn't 100% clearly. Look at that, able to reach across her body and pivot and get to the bag.
That is a 3 unassisted for Anzaldo. Bases empty, 2 outs. And to the top of the order to Kylie Sand, who's 0 for 2 with a run scored. That's outside for ball 1.
You have to believe that when Hamilton was over in the dugout, when her team was up, and she's over there with the coach, and they're talking about the Monarchs, the approach, the batting order, the strategy, knowing that the Monarchs were getting ready to flip the order again, getting the first 2 out in this inning was really important.
Strike 1 from Hamilton.
Working the black there on the outside edge.
These two, again, have played in a lot of really competitive games. A lot of them have been decided in the 6th inning or later. That has certainly been the case in the series this weekend. When these two first met, the first 2 games, walk-off wins for Coastal Bend.
And that was when the Monarchs, going into that series, had momentum. And Coastal Bend able to have those 2 before mentioned come from behind wins.
Yeah, they had won 5 straight. The Monarchs had going into that series.
Yeah.
They had beaten the smoke. That is a fly ball to left, tracked down by Whitley, and then they swept Hub City before losing those 2 games in Robstown. We go to the 5th inning after a 1-2-3-4 from Casey Hamilton. Her tidal wave on top of the Monarchs by 6, 9-3. A defensive change for the Monarchs, who saw Sarah Fessler pinch hit for Jada Kearney in the bottom of the fourth inning. Now takes over her position in the outfield and left. Here in the fifth, Monarchs trying to keep this a 6-run game. Coastal Bend on top 9-3. And batting here at the top of the fifth, they have scored in 3 straight innings, 5 in the second, 3 in the third, and another run in the fourth.
I think it's fair to say already trailing 9-3, Monarchs have to start putting up zeros.
Here's a pop-up into center. What a sliding catch made by Bradley St. Clair. Robbing Benavidez of a base hit, and a great outfield play starts the inning.
Boy, fantastic play by St. Clair. Great first step. Really got on her horse and still able to go down and make the play. That was good work by the former Mississippi State Bulldog.
1 pitch, 1 out. Malaysia Ochoa with a ground ball to first. Hot knocks it down, but can't make the play. And so Ochoa reaches, and she's on base now, Bill, for a 4th time tonight.
Yeah. Tried 2 doubles, 2 singles, has scored a run, knocked in a run. Not a bad performance out of your leadoff hitter.
Runner on, 1 out, brings up Tate Whitley.
Here's a look at her. She has been phenomenal on a night that has gone so well offensively for the visitors, Coastal Bend.
Fly ball to center. St. Clair, easier play this time. And now 2 outs in the 5th. So, runner at first base, 1 out, 2 outs, beg your pardon, brings up Trinity Cannon. And there look at Malaysia Ochoa, who's had a tremendous series so far. That's outside, ball 1. Ochoa had a hit on Thursday, 2 more last night, and 4 in this game. 1-0 pitch, fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cannon. With Kelly Lynch waiting on deck here for Coastal Bend. Coming into the series, had a game-and-a-half lead over the Monarchs for second, but now the Monarchs have overtaken the Tidal Wave for second place with their 2 wins. Up the middle, coming over Flaherty, will make the play herself to second base to end the inning. And so with that, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning here in San Marcos. You're watching Women's Pro Fast Pitch on the official WPF YouTube channel. We're back after this. Back out at Texas State's Bobcats softball stadium. It is a 9-3 game. Coastal Bend on top as we navigate to the bottom of the fifth inning. The Monarchs in these San Marvelous alternate jerseys trying to claw back, trailing by 6.
Down by 6, bottom of the fifth inning. You look at the order, who's due up. Flaherty, Vanderford, Piper, then it would be Keene. You have a feeling that if the Monarchs are going to do something magical, it would have to start in this inning. The sands and the hourglass are going away for the Monarchs.
You know, I'm curious, and I'm going to start looking through the old scorebook, see if I can find it. But the biggest deficit a team has overcome this year in the WPF, I'm curious as to what that is. I get the feeling it was Hub City against the Monarchs a couple of weekends ago. That's outside. 3-0 here to Devin Flaherty.
Was it part of the doubleheader? The doubleheader weekend?
It was a 7-3 game going into the fifth inning then. So a 4-run lead for the Monarchs as you see a passenger train coming down the tracks. Hub City came back to score 12 times and run rule in that game. So that was a 4-run deficit then.
You and Haley did that game.
Yes. Now, we saw the Smoke in that marathon game you referenced earlier come back to win that game. That's inside for ball 4.
That was nip and tuck, that game. There was never this kind of spread, obviously, because that final score was, what, 6-5?
I think it was 8-7,
7-7,
7-6, 8-7. And you're right, that was more of a nip and tuck game. Yep.
But back to the here and now. Trailing 9-3, there's the leadoff walk.
So it's not official, but I believe the answer is 4 runs, the biggest deficit anybody's overcome.
Yeah, you and I have tried to keep up with games played elsewhere. I don't remember coming across a game that would qualify with what we would consider a major comeback.
You know, all the Smoke games that we've covered, they've never been in a position where they were down by really more than a run or 2, maybe, and they are the ones creating that large deficit that they don't surrender.
Here, here.
0-2 to Sarah Vanderford. Had a 2-run single her last at-bat. Came back in the third inning. Another productive series for Vanderford, who has arguably been one of the more consistent players in the league this year.
Well, I started thinking, because we're approaching the end of the regular season, thinking about postseason awards and who would be our all-WPF team.
Vanderford, high fly ball, left field, driven and gone. Yeah, I think she'd be all WPF, Bill.
She'd get some votes, is what I was going to say.
Just a few. And with one swing, it is a 4-run game now, 9-5, second homer of the series for Sarah Vanderford.
Yeah, that one got out of here pronto as well. And get a look at Sarah Vanderford. That swing is so repeatable. She is so quick to the ball. She can let it travel a little bit. And I go back, as there's a break in play here, a visit out in the circle, but go back to the way this inning started with Flaherty doing her job, drawing the free pass. Again, Flaherty, don't be confused. Don't let the eye candy of the batting average, don't let it distract you. She's a big part of what the Monarchs do offensively.
So we know that Vanderford, again, played at this ballpark for a long time. 5 seasons at Texas State Bobcat, and her home games, the WPF, played here at the very same venue. Her numbers here, coming into the game tonight, 373 hitter, 6 homers, 22 runs batted in. And she has now added to those totals 7 homers and now 26 RBI in 18 games.
Yeah, incredible. And by the way, the stoppage in play there, you get a look at it. One of the trainers has come out, Victor Canales, our home plate umpire. Everybody can see it. Something going on there with his left wrist. Did he get hit with a bat?
Designated player for the Monarchs.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but yeah, up that left forearm, has it taped up.
Who said softball's not a contact sport?
So, base is empty. Nobody out after the homer hit by Vanderford, a 2-run shot, and it brings up Lily Piper. So at one point it was 8-0. Tidal Wave on top, but here come the Monarchs. Now a 4-run game.
Right, don't put me in the surprise column, because we've seen the Monarchs do this a number of times this year.
Piper off the fist, pops up to Benavidez for the first out.
It says a lot about the Monarchs. Already won the first 2 games of the series. It's warm out there tonight. They could have kind of packed up right about third inning and said, well, not our night tonight. You know, get them next time. That old cheer. But not the case at all with the Monarchs. They continue to plug away, chip away.
Leadoff batter, Jenna Keene. Belted and way gone.
As I was saying,
Second home run of the inning for the Monarchs, and for Jenna Keene, one of the longest homers we've seen to the ballpark this year.
turned on it. Absolutely put her nose on that ball and got it out of here.
That ball was annihilated by Jenna Keene. You wonder the laces are still on it.
Yeah, see if we get another look at it here, but all of a sudden things tighten up for Coastal Bend. Look at that. Good extension. Good load. And you're right. Goodbye, you're right. That thing's rolling towards I-35. You know, we can kind of joke and giggle and all that. You look at this game, right now, all of a sudden, it's a bloop, bloop, and a blast away from being tied.
The two teams coming into the games tonight had combined for 7 home runs. In this game, they've hit 6. 4 for the Tidal Wave and now 2 for the Monarchs. 1-0 pitch is out of the zone, 2-0. The first pitch of this game got moved back from 6 p.m. Central to 7, as Texas State was hosting 3 commencement ceremonies for the summer graduates this year. The final one of those just now ended. (2-1). That's high to Emily Hott. 3 balls and a strike.
Good take there as Hamilton has been up in the zone against Hott. And you know what this half inning has done as well, and we don't want to lose sight of this, is it's guaranteed that a player like Vanderford's going to come up again.
Emily Hott drills a base hit up the middle. Meanwhile, Hott is on with her first hit tonight. And Bill talks about it. All of a sudden, the on-deck batter represents a tying run.
Which seemed an hour ago like an impossibility. We're going to get a pitching change.
Yep, that's going to be it for Casey Hamilton. Boy, funny that coming into the 5th inning, Coastal Bend was just about in run rule territory. You're coming into the inning, it was a 6-run lead. Unable to score in the top of the inning, and now they've given up 3 in the bottom. And with that, a pitching change here for Coastal Bend. Kelly Lynch will now come in to relieve Casey Hamilton. Lynch, a pitcher that the Tidal Wave use quite often. She pitched just last night and pitched really well. The final 2 1/3 innings after Haley Archer got chased out of the game. Lynch in those innings, no hits, no runs given up, and only walked 2.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Tidal Wave. Number 37.
Now you wonder how Coastal Bend will respond to this little bit of adversity that's brewing here.
Hamilton winds up going a 4 1/3 innings, by the way.
Yeah, sorry, partner, but I was just going to say, this little factoid as well. Let's remember that Coastal Bend, they still lead by 3 runs, and the Monarchs are still going to have to find a way to slow down Coastal Bend's offense.
Yeah.
Coastal Bend might not be done scoring.
So far in the inning for the Monarchs, a 2-run homer, Sarah Vanderford, a solo shot, Jenna Keene. The last hit was single by Emily Hott to chase Hamilton out of the game. Brings up Kelly Torres. Torres herself a hot game tonight. 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. She's also a homer to the series. The tying run is on deck, Sarah Fessler. Here we go in a 3-run game. First pitch swinging, ground ball, a backhand, knocked down by second base by Benavidez. But by the time she gets up, there's no play to be had. And Torres is on with her 3rd hit here tonight.
Clearly a hard shot off the bat. Let's not be mistaken. Benavidez has to go down to get to the ball, and I think if you asked Rock, she'd say, that's a play I have to make. Would have been a really nice play, and because of the speed of Hott going into second base, no chance to get a force out.
And it brings up the tying run, Sarah Fessler. A career .338 hitter in her 2 years at Youngstown State, backs out of the way and takes ball 1.
For those of you scoring at home, it is ruled a single for Torres, her 3rd single in 3 at-bats tonight.
Briley St. Clair on deck, and then the top of the order due up, bunt put down by Fessler, but over the top, it's a ball and a strike.
We saw Fessler go deep earlier this season.
The team was down 8-0 in the 3rd. Now it's a 9-6 game. Couple of runners on here for Fessler. Popped out of play. The finale of the series set for a 1 o'clock start tomorrow. That'll mark the final home game of the regular season for the Monarchs. Next week on the road to close out the regular campaign at Hub City. 1-2 is high, and it gets away from Ramos. And it places runners at second and third base.
Yeah, and that's big, right? With 1 out, it eliminates the force out, easy defensive play, easier defensive play, should that situation arise. That's a big moment.
Hott to third base, Torres over to seconds, and a visitation coming up here between Ramos and Lynch. So again, Casey Hamilton going 4 1/3 tonight. Haley Archer, last night's starter, went 3 2/3. Her issues with the walks. For Hamilton tonight, just too many balls left over the plate.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Early on, it looked like she was really getting into a groove, and yeah, I think she would agree, not enough strikes.
Going high this time does Lynch, and Fessler can't lay off and strikes out.
Big pitch in a big moment by Lynch.
Number 12, Bradley St. Clair.
Boy, Fessler just committed to that swing. That ball was nowhere near the strike zone.
Yeah, sometimes as a hitter, and it's at all levels, but sometimes as a hitter, you anticipate strike, right? You don't want to be late, so you start a little too early, and then once you commit, it's over.
Swing and a miss by St. Clair. Although Fessler struck out, she's back in the game as a pinch runner for Torres at second base. Base hit here by St. Clair, could drive in 2 more. Swings and misses again, and it's 0-2.
Got St. Clair to expand the zone a little bit there. Yeah, you think anything that finds grass is going to score 2 for sure.
If St. Clair can reach, Kylie Sand is due up next. Bottom of the 5th, 2 on, 2 out, and 2 strikes here against St. Clair. Lynch's pitch, swing and a miss and a strikeout. Huge punch out there for Lynch to end the inning, keeping the damage to a minimum. Back-to-back Ks from Lynch ends the 5th. We go to the 6th. After 5, 9-6, Tidal Wave, the lead over the Monarchs. Making her Monarchs debut is Kenna Wilkie, who was signed to the team this past Monday. Wilkie from Braidwood, Illinois, pitched at the University of Houston for 2 seasons. Before that, 3 years at Northwestern, was in the WPF last year, winning a ring with the Texas Smoke. And now her first year, first game, and first pitch coming up with the Monarchs.
Yeah, look at her numbers going back to her days about 3 hours east of here at the University of Houston, 24-24 in 2 seasons with the Cougars. Over 53 starts, began her career at her home state Northwestern. There in Evanston, Illinois, north of Chicago. And a big pickup for the Monarchs, especially heading into the end of the season, into playoff action. Going to need some arms.
Speaking of arms, with Wilkie appearing in the circle, now the Monarchs have used every pitcher on the roster in this series. And here we are in game 3 with 1 more to go. That ball ripped foul, 0-2 to Kelly Lynch. It's Lynch, Anzaldo, and Wiggins, 3 huge bats for the Tidal Wave here in the 6th. Final year at Houston, Wilkie second team all AAC. Lynch with a fly ball to center. And there's St. Clair for out number 1.
That's Wilkie's job, clearly. Keep this a 3-run deficit. Give the bats an opportunity to do more work. Wilkie, softball in her bloodlines. Her mom, Tracy, once upon a time, a collegiate softball player.
Nobody on, 1 out for the red-hot Tatum Anzaldo. First pitch swinging with a high fly left center. St. Clair will give way to Fessler, who makes the catch. And Wilkie so far 2 up and 2 down.
That's the script she wants to follow. Because now offensively, the Monarchs are running out of outs. So want to keep this a 3-run deficit if you're wearing the orange of the Monarchs.
Rylan Wiggins, 2 homers on the night. She's 2 for 3. With 3 runs batted in. First pitch is in tight for ball 1.
The Monarchs will have the top of their batting order coming up in the bottom of this frame.
Sand, Flaherty, Vanderford.
And they've done work tonight.
Yes, they have. 1-0 pitch dropped in for a strike by Wilkie. Relieves Alexa DeFeo. The reliever went 3 2/3 for the Monarchs, giving up 4 runs off 7 hits, but no walks surrendered by DeFeo. Here's the 1-1. And tied again, 2 balls and a strike.
And about DeFeo, I'll say this. For a team that needed a pitcher to eat some innings and at least keep the team within shouting distance, she did a really good job of that.
That's a great point. After the tough start by Schlotterbeck. Down the middle, strike 2. And there is Alexa DeFeo. 54 pitches in her 3 2/3. Making her second appearance of this series. Or beg your pardon, her first. 2-2 pitch on the way is high and out of the zone. Fills the count to Wiggins. Cassie Valdez awaits on deck. 9 runs, 10 hits, and a couple of errors for the Tidal Wave. 6 runs, 9 hits, and no errors for the Monarchs. And each team has left 6 runners on base. There's a 2-out walk, and Wiggins reaches for a 3rd time tonight.
Wiggins has had quite a night with the 2 home runs.
Number 7.
Bridging back to the work she did last night in the 5-4 win for the Monarchs.
Cassie Valdez, the batter now, falls behind 0-1.
You watch the defensive configuration here for the Monarchs, and the left fielder, Fessler, could not be playing a deeper left field. She's basically on the edge of the warning track. Look, she's almost out of frame.
Ball hit towards left, but well shy of Fester. It's 0-2. The scouting report got to show that Valdez is a pull side hitter, right?
Pull side hitter, and she's going to go deep. Keep everything in front of you. Could be a case, too, where Fessler as an outfielder is more comfortable coming in than going back. But that is a deep left field.
Looks like a no doubles kind of alignment there. And, you know, a double hit by Valdez could potentially drive in Wiggins. So maybe it's a situation that has her out there that deep.
You're leaving a lot of green grass out there in front of your left fielder. But let me add this important point. The Monarchs coaching staff has scouting reports that I do not.
Rolled to the left side. Manafort scoops, zips it to first base in time for the outs. 2-out walk given up by Wilkie in her debut, but after that, able to get Cassie Valdez to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Monarchs again trying to come back. Top of the order, 2 up as they trail by 3. Kind of feels paramount that the Monarchs need to come through here in the 6th inning with such a big part of the order coming up the top of the order. Sand, Flaherty, and Vanderford. A team once down by 8 has cut this lead down to 3, but still work to do, trailing by 3 runs with 6 outs to go.
And that's why I go back to what I said last half inning, when the last at bat for the Monarchs, where you had Flaherty leading off, and in a perfect world for Coastal Bend, Flaherty and Vanderford and Piper would never bat again tonight. That didn't work out.
Lynch in the circle, first pitch, Sand rolls that to the shortstop, and the throw is in time from Wiggins to the first baseman Anzaldo. So, 1 pitch, 1 out, 5 outs to go.
And Vanderford comes to bat with nobody on. Or check that, Flaherty coming up. But at worst case scenario, Vanderford comes up with 1 on.
She can't tie the game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. Flaherty 0 for 2 with a walk and a run tonight. Takes a strike from Lynch. So Lynch came into the game in place of Hamilton in the 5th inning. And she has retired 3 of the 4 she has faced, to include 2 massive strikeouts in the 5th inning.
Now, to say what she's doing, she's pounding the strike zone. Misses there, but she's really been locked in with her catcher, Ramos.
She pitched in such a difficult conference this year, the SEC. That's fouled away, strike 2. Pitching for LSU, she held opponents to a 189 batting average this year, the 10th lowest batting average against in that conference.
Yeah, that's pretty good, and that kind of demonstrates her mindset right now. She's in attack mode. Up by 3, she knows 1 pitch isn't going to hurt her. What will hurt her is if she walks people.
Something else we noticed about Lynch when she came into the game last night, that towel that she wears is huge. On the ground is seconds. Benavidez, 2 outs. I think we kind of made the joke. It's a type of towel that you would lay out on the beach and to catch some rays, and she's using it to clean off her hands.
Well, she does play for Coastal Bend, and they are down along the coast.
That's true.
Yeah, Gulf of Mexico. She can just, after the game, head down the beach and, like you said, get some rays.
Normally it's a rag, right? Not a full-on bath towel.
But the thing she has done is nobody on with Vanderford up.
And just like that, this team, which had been mounting a comeback, is down to its final 4 outs now. Bases empty for Vanderford. A 4 RBI night. A 2-run single in the 3rd and that 2-run homer the 5th.
She has been a machine. Now, you and I both know, and a lot of our viewers know, Sarah Vanderford, her reputation precedes her. But what she has done in this 2024 season in the WPF is remarkable.
Before she hit the homer, you were talking about all WPF team.
Yeah.
But I wonder what other accolades is she in the running for? Rookie of the Year, maybe even Player of the Year, top 3rd baseman, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Fly ball, center field, well struck, but tracking it down is Malaysia Ochoa as she gently goes into the wall. Vanderford gave it a ride, but not deep enough. A 1-2-3-6 for Kelly Lynch. And we go to the 7th in a 3-run game. Coastal Bend on top of Texas, 9-6. 9-6 lead for Coastal Bend, a team trying to get a win of the series. The Monarchs won the first two. Coastal Bend on top 9-6 here to go to the seventh and playing for some insurance with the bottom part of the order coming up for head coach Blake Miller. Michaela Ramos, Rock Benavidez, and Malaysia Ochoa, hitters 8, 9, and then 1 due up here in the seventh inning.
We have zero idea how this game is going to end, Brant, but I will say this. Kelly Lynch has provided some calm in a game that has had a little bit of chaos.
And Kenna Wilkie, again in the circle here for the Monarchs. Saw her come into the game in the sixth inning, relieving Alexa DeFeo. I think this was pointed out by a producer, Victoria Heim, kind of fitting that Wilkie on that back left arm of hers has a butterfly tattoo. Here she is now pitching for the Monarchs.
Get a look at it there.
There
Great
it is.
camera
yeah,
work.
Right? When are you getting your butterfly tattoo?
I am not getting a tattoo. I'm on record of trying to avoid as much as I can pain.
That's why. 2-0 pitch in there, 2 balls, 1 strike.
What about you, partner? I'm going to tennis ball back into your court.
Fullback butterfly tattoo. It's already there. Just you can't see it.
Are you going to put 2024 above it? Commemorate?
That's the funny thing. I've had it for the last 10 years now.
No regrets?
Took me a second to figure ragrats. Regrets. Yeah, sure.
You know, as you look at this half inning, top of the seventh for Coastal Bend, the bottom of the order starting things off, 8 of the 9 runs for Coastal Bend have been scored by the bottom 5 in the batting order. Ramos has scored 2 runs herself.
You know, that's a big development because you look back at the opener on Thursday, it was the top 4 in the order that produced all the offense, and it was the bottom 5 of the order that really struggled in that opener on Thursday. But tonight, different story, but in production, up and down the order.
The difference maybe between scoring 9 runs as opposed to 4 runs, huh?
Leadoff walk, Michaela Ramos. Second walk, give it up by Wilkie. And again, very important for her to keep this a 3-run game. You hit that fast forward button to the bottom of the inning. It's Piper, Keene, and Hot Dew to hit. The big bat of Vanderford are going to take a long time to get there if you're the Monarchs.
Again, that was good work by Lynch in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Looks like the players at the plate right now, and maybe beyond just the plate, dealing with some bugs.
I know in the fall, as you know, in the fall, crickets can arrive on the scene here in San Marcos.
Don't know if it's just gnats or something else, but there's a lot flying around home plate right now. That's bunted foul by Benavidez. No balls and 2 strikes.
Hard enough to pick up the ball and hit without that going on. Those of you who have been tuned in to the WPF this summer, you know these games aren't over till the final out.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of dramatic finishes so far in the league this year. And how about that pitch from Wilkie? Benavidez goes down looking for the first out.
Got Benavidez to give up on it. It's a change up there, just dropped in, and it's a big pitch by Wilkie to kind of get this half inning back on track after issuing the leadoff walk.
And back to Malaysia Ochoa. 4 for 4 night facing Wilkie, though, for the first time. 2 doubles, 2 singles, and a run scored tonight. That's off the glove of Torres. And over to second base goes Ramos.
Not sure if the official scorer is going to rule that a wild pitch or a pass ball. Nevertheless, you give up that base. It is a pass ball. I think that's a good ruling there, accurate ruling. But again, now you put a runner in scoring position with 1 out, and as Brant said, the Monarchs can ill afford to give up another run.
And now Blake Miller bringing in a pinch runner. Going to bring Benavidez back into the game. Or I beg your pardon, that's Grace Chellerman going to pinch run over at second base.
Yeah, coach understanding the importance of that run in the back pocket of Chellerman at second base.
So the pinch runner Chellerman over at second now. 1 ball, no strikes to Malaysia Ochoa. Looks at the ball down, 2-0. First base now open. Want to be careful here against Ochoa, but not great options awaiting if you're Wilkie in the circle, because after Ochoa, it's Tate Whitley and then Cannon.
Ochoa, 2 doubles and 2 singles tonight. That's good.
Expert analysis there.
That's what I'm here for, partner. You thought my 3-week break, I had just put everything on the shelf?
Robust analysis.
Yeah, that's
going to bring that word
robust,
back in.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, man. Seriously, she done a tremendous job.
That hits her. Either way, would have been a ball or a hit batter. Ochoa's going to wind up at first base. So 2 on, 1 out. And some big bats coming up here as we just saw Tyler Gunnelson talk to her plate umpire, Victor Canales, about something, but not making a change.
He kind of gestured, Coach did, at his arm, I think just asking, did it really hit her?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Victor Canales has a far better view than we do.
Whitley, bunt put down. Fielded by Torres, throwing to first base. Goes off the glove of Sand, and a run's going to score. Maybe 2 are going to score. To the plate, the throw, the tag, not in time. So both Chellerman and Ochoa score on that play. And again, a play involving a collision of sorts between a fielder and a runner. You saw Kylie Sand cover first base here in the throw from Torres. Whitley makes contact with a glove. As a result, 2-run score.
Well, how wild is that play? Torres, we talked earlier about a catcher trying to hit a moving target, the second baseman covering the first base bag. There it is again. And to think that that play would result in 2 runs scoring, I don't know if my mind could go there. And I think you just pointed out, Brant, there was a similar play in last night's game. An enormous difference is 2 runs didn't score on that play.
The scoring on that play, by the way, infield single by Whitley and a fielding error charge to Kylie Sand.
Well, that's a tough error.
So both runs unearned and no RBI there for Whitley, but more importantly, the 2 runs scoring, now 11-6. A 5-run lead, and that hole that the Monarchs were in has now just gotten a little bit bigger.
The good news for all of us, including Monarchs fans, the Monarchs, is Sand didn't get injured on that play. How many times have we seen that type of play? I say Sand not injured as she's being tended to, but how many times have we seen that type of collision where a player can really do damage to a shoulder, to an arm, to an elbow? Let's hope she's okay.
Now, again, there was nothing intentional on the part of Whitley on that collision. That's why she's not called out for runner's interference. That was just a bad, set of circumstances there for Kylie Sand and the Monarchs.
Yeah, the ball arrived when the runner arrived, and Torres is doing her darndest, right, to get that ball to first base as quickly as she could. Ideally, you want to throw that ball inside the baseline, but there were a lot of moving parts to that play, as we all just saw.
Whitley winds up at second base, meanwhile. And now Cannon, the batter, a 5-run lead with 1 out here in the 7th inning. So now if you're Coastal Bend, you're 3 defensive outs away from getting a win and the potential tomorrow to earn a split after dropping the first 2 games.
And that'll be a big storyline when we arrive at the ballpark tomorrow. It'll be on the minds of all these players, and I know all of the WPF fans out there.
A little more juice in that Tidal Wave dugout tonight. On the ground at third, Vanderford can't make that play. Whitley's going to round third to the plate, and she's in. Cannon with a double. 12-6, Coastal Bend.
Was it Casey Kasem who used to say the hits just keep on coming? Coastal Bend again rewarded getting bat on ball, and Sarah Vanderford just not quite able to at least smother that ball. As an infielder, that's what you're taught with runner in scoring position. Don't let the ball leave the infield, even if you can't get an out.
Now to the plate, Kelly Lynch fouls off the first pitch. You know, again, it felt like the window for the Monarchs was the bottom of the sixth inning. Huge part of the order up, down by 3, couldn't cash in. And now you see what Coastal Bend has done. They've expanded the lead. Once up 3, they've doubled that to leading by 6 now, and still just 1 out.
If I had told you that Coastal Bend would put up
Lynch with a drive, left field, and that's gone. Kelly Lynch with a home run. 5th homer tonight by Coastal Bend from 4 different players. It's 14-6.
launch mode there, so forget what I was going to say before Lynch, her swing. Just up and down the lineup, as it turns out, where everybody's getting in on the party. It has been a tidal wave.
Yes, it has. Great play and words on your part. Great game on the part of Coastal Bend. The offense has exploded. 14 runs on 13 hits, 5 homers along the way. 3 of those 2-run home runs as well. Coming into this inning, you could get somewhat creative. Didn't have to be overly creative to come up with a scenario for the Monarchs to overcome a 3-run deficit. Down 8, then yeah, you're getting really creative now.
And this is where the mountain started in terms of deficit.
Yeah.
Where the Monarchs once upon a time trailed 8-0 and kept chipping away and fighting and scratching and clawing.
This is a pinch hitter, by the way, in place of Tatum Anzaldo. The pinch hitter, Alyssa Garcia. And perhaps with the game seeing some separation here, it's giving Blake Miller the ability to make a change and take Anzaldo out, who clearly is laboring right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Great point, Brandon. Also, you get Garcia in at bat. And it's not a high leverage situation. Let her get some cuts. You never know when that'll pay off.
Three really big offensive innings for the Tidal Wave tonight. 5 in the second, 3 in the third, 5 here in the 7th. On the ground at second base, handled by Sand, 2 outs.
This shows as well, you and I made the point earlier, the job that DeFeo did coming in to kind of bridge from Schlotterbeck, who had the rough start, to where we are right now. Mm-hmm. It may sound crazy when I say she only gave up 4 runs, but with what Coastal Bend has done tonight with the bats.
Yeah, they set a trend right early on in the game against Schlotterbeck.
Yeah.
Wiggins with another base hit. That one bounces off the wall. Wiggins already 2 home runs Out of that total, a double here in the 7th.
Why not? I wonder if the guy with the Wiggins shirt on saw that one. Just turned on that, smoked it into left field corner. And then Wiggins, you saw that speed. That was going to be a double all day, every day. But she's got some wheels. Made a great turn at first.
That ball lined into the glove of Emily Hott at first base to finally end the inning. But a 5-run 7th for Coastal Bend, and now the Tidal Wave 3 defensive outs away from getting the first win of the series. We're back with the bottom of the 7th after this here in San Marcos. And welcome back to Bobcat Softball Stadium. The Coastal Bend Tidal Wave 3 outs away from taking this game on top 14-6. Just exploded for 5 runs in the top of the 7th inning to create a lot more breathing room for Kelly Lynch to work with. She'll face Lily Piper, Jenna Keene, and Emily Hott here in the inning. Although there is a pinch hitter coming up in place of Piper, it is Susie Brookshire. So again, coming into the 7th inning, Monarchs were only down by 3. Had a chance, I should say. Nothing. It's hard to describe a chance as great when you're down by 3, but a chance. But now down by 8, and the cards really stacked against them here as we see a swing and a miss by Brookshire.
You score 14 runs, and there will be a lot of stars put next to offensive players for Coastal Bend. But again, I go back to the job that Lynch did to get out of the 5th, 1, 2, 3 in the 6th, and set the stage for this.
Foul back by Brookshire. It's 1-2. Reference the home runs the Monarchs hit of the open on Thursday, 3 of them. Brookshire had one of those, a 2-run shot. Also got a 2-run homer from Kelly Torres and the walk-off 3-run homer by Vanderford. 1-2 from Lynch. Here's a fly ball left center, and that's going to reach the wall. Brookshire with a pinch hit double to start off the bottom of the 7th inning.
When I think about it, Brookshire's been sitting in that dugout for 2.5 hours and comes in and does that. Really good at bat against a pitcher who's been dealing.
So a leadoff double for Brookshire. Good way for the inning to start here for the Monarchs. And now Jenna Keene swings and misses, strike 1. But a good night for Keene as well, 2 for 3. And had that monster home run to right back in the 5th. One of the longest homers we've seen in the WPF this year.
Everybody knows the story behind her number 64. Mm-hmm. You've done a great job of chronicling the story behind that, Brant.
Had the chance to talk to her about that again just yesterday. Here she goes after 3 pitches high and out of the zone and strikes out. So Keen, a paramedic, drives an ambulance back in Orange County, the station she works for, number 64. That's how she has her jersey number.
Perfect. Great story.
That was the Cliff Notes version for you,
Yeah.
by the way. So, runner at second, 1 out. And now Emily Hott fouls off the first pitch. It's 0-1. The finale tomorrow set for a 1 o'clock start here in, yes, San Marvelous, Texas. The nickname of San Marcos, located in Central Texas between Austin, the state capital, and San Antonio. Quickly, 0-2.
And that is kind of a microcosm of what Lynch has done since she's come on, is throw strikes. I know her coaches would much prefer her giving up a leadoff double to Brookshire than a leadoff walk to Brookshire.
No balls, 2 strikes to Hott. And time is called here by the batter.
Look at Ramos's towel, the catcher. You're talking about towels.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Not quite as large as Lynch's, but still, it's, if Lynch's is a large, that one's a medium.
Huh? That's big for a softball towel. I don't know. I'm not going to argue with anything that Coastal Bend's done tonight.
After this, you might see everybody with a beach towel tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. That's a miss to Emily Hott. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And if things keep going this way, they might be just having bathrobes back there. Fly ball, right center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Brookshire's going to round third and score. Hott to second base, and she is dead to rights. Cassie Valdez delivers a missile from the outfield to Ryder Wiggins for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, an absolute laser of a throw. She couldn't have run the ball in and handed it off in a more perfect position. Take a gander at this again. For a team that's up 14-7, got to the ball in a hurry, low and hard, basically applies the tag for her infielder.
You know, I misidentified the fielder. It was not Valdez who made that throw. It was Malaysia Ochoa that cut it off in right field. Ochoa, the center fielder, made that throw. And, man, what a game has she had tonight, huh?
Boy, both ways, right? Offense and defense.
Monarchs down to their final out as Kelly Torres bats. Count even, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I'm going to add this, and yeah, it probably doesn't matter, right? It's 14-7 game, but being down 14-7 with 1 out, that was risky to try to stretch that into a double. Aggressive play, and you applaud that. Nice play by a fan there.
Yeah, right?
Not a great throw.
I don't think he had to throw that back into the field of play,
Right.
by the way, but he did. Or at least he attempted to. And now the Monarchs are down to their final strike. On the wrong end of a 14-7 score. Heard some groans there for the Tidal Wave dugout. They're ready for it to be a ball game right there.
They ready to wave the towels, right?
Well played, sir. Swung on right center field, and that is gone. Kelly Torres with her second home run of the series. Well, how big are those 5 runs in the top of the inning looking right now?
They're looking really big, and we knew, because we've seen this Monarchs offense, we knew that the Monarchs would just keep on coming. And Coastal Bend understanding that as well. So get out your calculators. There have been 22 combined runs in tonight's game. The first 2 games of this series have combined 20. It's been an offensive explosion. When the Monarchs score 8 runs, they expect to win, not trail by 6.
Yeah, that's a great point. Higher run total tonight than they had
Right?
either Thursday or Friday, but still down by 6 runs here. Strike 1 to the batter, Sarah Fessler, trying to extend the game. But still a lot of work to do.
The Monarchs had 5 hits last night. They have a dozen tonight.
Popped up, and once again the Monarchs down to their final strike. Curious who we see in the circle tomorrow. So could see Cassie Valdez again for Coastal Bend after a great start on Thursday, and perhaps Jaden Vickers again.
Does she come back?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that tonight. All she's done tonight is coach first base, and right now, Monarchs don't even have a coach over at first. And I wonder if that had anything to do with Hott trying to stretch it into a double.
Actually, I would imagine Aspen Wesley starts tomorrow.
Wesley, good option.
Here's the 1-2, and that is in tight, almost hit Fessler. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So I'm going to guess we see the rematch of Thursday, Wesley versus Valdez in the circle tomorrow, and we'll find out at 1 o'clock.
That's a marquee matchup in the WPF. And tomorrow's game will have a lot riding on it, assuming Coastal Bend holds on here.
Struck her out to end the game. An offensive night ends with a strikeout, and the Tidal Wave have a win this weekend in San Marcos as they beat the Monarchs 14-8.
Offense, offense, offense. After Coastal Bend suffering through the first 2 games and watching the Monarchs come up with the big at-bats in the big moments, it was Coastal Bend tonight. It really started with Ochoa, her leadoff double, kind of set the stage for what was to come the rest of the ball game.
And your play of the game, there you see her right there. Rylan Wiggins, a couple of home runs. That 2-run shot in the second inning, and then later, Bill, a solo bomb in the third.
Yeah, so good. And Wiggins was just one of the examples of where Coastal Bend got production literally from top to bottom in the batting order.
Rylan Wiggins with a big night tonight, 3 for 4, or I beg your pardon, 3 for 3, with a couple of home runs. That's going to wrap up our coverage of this game tonight. As the Coastal Bend beats the Monarchs by a final score of 14-8. Bill, final thoughts?
Yeah, just looking forward to tomorrow because, again, with the bounce-back win by Coastal Bend tonight, both teams will arrive at the ballpark locked in, focused, because now as we approach the finish line of this season, all the wins, all the losses get magnified all the more.
All right, so for Bill Colhane, I'm Brian Freeman saying so long from San Marcos, Texas, with a final score. It's Coastal Bend 14 and the Monarchs 8. For more information on the WPF, log on to WProFastPitch.com. This has been a presentation of the WPF. Until next time, good night from Bobcat Softball Stadium.